Hello, this is Fibrillus and welcome to For Honor. I will be teaching you how to play the game and not be a scrub. For Honor's combat is based on their system that they're calling the Art of Battle, which is where you choose a direction to attack or defend from. To start off with blocking or attacking, you just pick left, right, or up to defend or attack from that direction. To use the Art of Battle system, you have to hold L2 to enter your guard stance. When you're in your guard stance, this is where you can block or attack in any of the three directions. To begin, for the offensive side of things, we have light attacks and heavy attacks, which are used by pressing R1 and R2 respectively. Light attacks are faster, but they do deal less damage, whereas heavy attacks, they're slower, but they hit harder. Where this is interesting, though, is that they can be chained into different combos depending on which character you're playing. From there, you have access to guard breaks, which you can use by pressing square. And what these do is while your opponent is guarding, you can break their guard and it stuns them so you can land a hit on them. And you can also use that to chain into combos. After a successful guard break, you can also perform a throw, which is used by pressing square again. And you can also dictate which direction you want to throw them in by pushing the left analog stick wherever you want them to go. This can be very useful as you can throw enemies off the stage for an insta-kill. You could throw them into fires to do damage over time. You could throw them into spike traps, which also are an instant kill, I believe. There are also uninterruptible attacks, which means that you can't be staggered out of your attack. Certain characters have this ability built into their kit, whether it be in a chain or some other feature. There's also what's called revenge mode, which when active, all your attacks are uninterruptible, which means that you can just spam away and you'll land every single one. There are also unblockable attacks. You'll know that it's an unblockable. There will be an orange symbol inside the Art of Battle indicator. The enemy's weapon will also glow with an orange fire, so it's pretty obvious they're coming. You just have to react to them accordingly. Unblockables you cannot block, but you can parry, which I will go over soon. On the defensive side of things, to guard regular attacks, you just hold the right stick in the direction that you want to block. From there, you can also counter guard breaks. So guard breaks, they're very useful against new players because new players often don't have the reaction time or know that you can counter them. And guard breaks open you to a free hit, so they're spammed early on in the game. But you can counter a guard break by, if you see the enemy's guard breaking, there will be a red broken shield that pops up in their Art of War indicator. You can press square or whatever your guard break button is to counter their guard break. And then it just sets you both on an even playing field again, like nothing even happened. On the defensive side of things, there are also parries, which to perform a parry, you need to wait until the opponent's attack flashes like bright red, which is just before they hit you with an attack. So if you want to turn off your HUD, which it's pretty cool because the game's beautiful, you can also know when to parry based on when their weapon is about to hit you. Parries are very useful as heavy attacks do deal damage through your guards. It's slight, but it is there. Parries prevent this damage from coming through. So if you're against someone that's, like what is his name? Shigoki, I think, who has like this massive club, he hurts through your guards. So you need to parry his attacks to not take damage from him. Parries are also very useful as they prevent unblockable attacks from hitting you. It's ballsy as hell to try to parry an unblockable because if you mess it up, you're gonna get hit and they hurt. Another way you can counter unblockables is to dodge, which is pressing X in any direction while you're in the guard mode. Dodges, they can be kind of finicky, but for the most part, when you dodge, it almost acts as a guard where you won't get hit by an attack. And then some characters, like in-depth characters, like Orochi has one. They have what's called a deflect, where it's when you dodge during the parry window, you can deflect an attack, and then you can immediately follow it up into a combo. There's also rolls you can perform, which is when you break guard so you're not locked on, and you press the dodge button, you can roll, and it gives you more distance, and they're useful for when you're trying to get out of a sticky situation. Moving on, another side of defense is when you're fighting multiple opponents at once. The game doesn't tell you this in the basic tutorial, but in the advanced one it does. And to block multiple opponents, you'll have whoever you're locked onto will have like the regular Art of Battle system that you have to block against. But if you're getting attacked from someone else, to block their attacks, you push your analog stick in the direction that the character is with respect to your character. You don't have to worry about if they're attacking up, left, or right. All you have to worry about is blocking in the direction they're standing in. When you're blocking multiple opponents and you land a block, you also gain, I think it's half a second of like a full parry window around you, or guard window. So if you block someone in front of you, the person that's attacking you next from the side, their attack will also be blocked, so you don't have to worry about it. When you're fighting with multiple opponents as well, you gain what's called revenge, which it's a bar on the bottom left that starts to fill up, and you gain that by taking damage from or blocking or parrying attacks from other enemies. And if you're in a like 1v2, 1v3, like multiple opponents on you situation, revenge mode tries to give the player that's outnumbered a fighting chance at actually surviving and beating them. When you're in a situation where you're getting faced with multiple opponents, I recommend trying to block way more often than trying to actually attack, because blocking builds up the revenge meter, and then blocking, you don't take damage as long as it's not an unblockable or heavy attack. So if you continue blocking during like a team fight where it's you versus a few of them, you'll gain revenge. To activate revenge, you press triangle on the PS4 or Y, I believe, on the Xbox. And then activating revenge, your character pushes aside enemies. So if you're being attacked and then you press triangle to activate revenge, given that you have it, it almost functions similar to a parry in that when you activate revenge while you're being attacked, it blocks their attack, and then it also will throw enemies to the ground. And this can be useful for when you're in a 1v2 and you get revenge. You can wait for one enemy to start to attack you, then you can press triangle to activate it, knock them to the ground, and then you can focus on the second enemy and fight them. When you're in revenge mode, you gain bonus health. I think it's a shield over your health that expires after revenge, don't quote me on that. But you gain more defenses, your attacks will hurt more, you have unlimited stamina, so you don't have to worry about running out of stamina ever. All your attacks are also uninterruptible, which means you can just spam away to your heart's content. So, like I said, it's good to knock one player to the ground, focus on the other one, and just wail on them, and hopefully you can kill them before revenge mode runs out, or before the other enemy gets up and starts attacking you again. Another thing I keep forgetting to talk about is stamina. Stamina in this game is that green bar underneath your health, and stamina is drained when you're attacking, doing things that are offensive. So there aren't any negative effects to like losing stamina while you still have full stamina. It's a resource you can use, but once you run out of stamina, there's a threshold where when you're out, you begin this recovery phase where your screen turns gray, your stamina bar is gray, your character will be sluggish, his attacks will land slower, and I would definitely recommend not to attack when you're out of stamina because it prevents you from regaining it. I recommend going solely on the defensive, blocking all their attacks until you can then counteract them. When you are out of stamina, you cannot feint, you can't roll. You can still dodge though, but you can't roll. And then what else can't you do? You can't guard break. I think you can counter guard breaks. I hope. It's escaping me right now, but I think you can. While you're out of stamina as well, if you are thrown, so if they do land a guard break and then throw you, you get thrown to the ground. Stamina management, you should definitely always try to make sure that you never run out of it, unless you're doing an action like, unless you're finishing someone while you lose your stamina, then you can, swing away to your heart's content. The last thing I want to talk about is executions, which is where if you kill an enemy with a heavy attack, you gain the option to execute them, which you can do by pressing triangle or square. You have to be holding the guard button though while you finish them with a heavy to execute. But when you execute, you kill them. Well, let me elaborate. So when you kill an enemy normally, like let's say I use my R1 light attacks, I kill an enemy and then they fall to the ground, and then I move on, I keep fighting. Their teammates can run up to them and revive them as long as they haven't respawned yet. They can do it indefinitely. Executions prevent this though. So you have to kill them while in guard with a heavy attack, and then you can press triangle or square to activate the execution. And then this takes additional time. It's like a second or two more, and you can be interrupted. So if you see a friend that's getting executed, and you can get there fast enough to poke the opponent with an R1 to prevent their execution, that's very helpful because then you can revive your friend later. Executions also regenerate your health when you perform one successfully. They're also a flashy way of showing that you dominated your opponent. I recommend always doing them if you can because they're pretty badass. Well, there you are. Those are the basic and advanced mechanics to For Honor. I think I covered all the ones that aren't character specific. From there, hopefully you can go on the battle and not be a complete noob on day one. Like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one. I'm going to be producing mainly For Honor content on this channel from here on out. And yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good one.